Harlem, Chris, thanks so much for doing this interview for us, and it's a great new relationship that you two have got together. I want to talk to you a little bit about that, but for right now, Chris, I want to talk to you and your involvement back into boxing. How exciting is that?
It's delightful. I'm delighted. Yeah, having someone who actually can, raise my interest and raise my emotions to have that skill set he has of movement, of jab, the ability to punch, the ability to fight when made to fight is exciting. You don't get many out there now these days, and I think the fact that he's my nephew, it's going to give me the ability now to actually, rustle up the guys out there who actually do want to learn the art and craft and live the life. Not the, to actually get rid of this idea of, bling and social media, prioritizing the wrong things. Learning the art is what I'm about, and it's what he's done over the last 11 years, and yeah, we're going to bring it to where it should be.
I mean, how has this relationship came about, Chris? I know that the passing of your father, your late brother, has brought you two together, but explain a little bit on how this relationship's come about, working relationship.
Okay, so about a year ago, I brought a tape, a video, to show my brother Simon, who effectively was locked, imprisoned in his own body through frontal lobe dementia, which is what boxing does. 27 fights, 20 losses. So he was one of the guys who were being used in, it's a very dangerous game, and it's a tragic game, if you're on the wrong side of it, which is what he was. And when I showed him the video, his eyes lit up and he seemed to glow. So, certainly, when he passed on the 17th of September, I have a duty to look after my nephew, who effectively I'm now his dad. I'm now his dad. I've got to look after him like that. So I'm going to give him all the experience and wisdom that I've learned from that experience, of those experiences, to enable him to actually show the skills that he has. I mean, the first thing is that we've already established that he's not fighting at 140 pounds after this fight anymore. He's a 147-pound fighter.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on you about that, because you said that earlier on, that 140 would be the last time that Harlem boxes here. What is the reasons behind that? He's outgrown it?
What's your weight now?
I'm 156 pounds today. We was having a conversation in the car, and my uncle was saying I'm 147 pounds. I will make the weight for this upcoming contest, no problem. And after that, I think 147 pound could be the weight class. Who are the champions out there? Who's the best out there in the UK at 147?
So can I say? So at that point, if he's 156, 11 days before the fight, then he's really he's a welterweight. Now, who is the other welterweight in this country?
So, Mr. Conor Benn comes straight to mind.
That's right. He was saying the other day in an interview that he'd love that fight. Let me tell you, there's a reason why the British Boxing Board of Control is a body that should be respected. When fighters are fighting in fights where there are two weight differences, the Boxing Board of Control are there to actually implement their rules so that that doesn't happen. And I'm going to be backing them 100%. So now he's at the right weight in terms of Conor Benn. Now, who's the world champion is actually our guys over there in the States, I know. But here in the United Kingdom, who is the 147 champion? Who's the British champion?
Well, I don't know. we've got a guy that's moved up. Josh Taylor's moving up now, isn't he? Wasn't he talking about moving up to 147? Was it Josh Taylor that was moving up to 147?
I'm not sure.
Okay, Josh Taylor, if he's at 140, these are the fights that will be made because they're the right fights. But most importantly, and let me tell you, the most important fight really is Conor.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's now 147, he wants that fight, and that's the right fight. Now,
is that a fight that you want, Harlem? Is that a fight that you're sort of chasing?
It's not a fight that I'm chasing.
But a fight that makes sense.
It's the credible fight. If he is a 147-pound fighter, if that is his weight class.
Well, I think we saw him box at 154, didn't we? Out in the States in a low-key fight, coming back just a couple of months ago. Clearly didn't have the power and the size at 154. So 147 really is the weight category where he should be boxing.
If that is his weight category, 147 pounds, which, that is where he is a credible fighter. He's not credible up at 154 or, there's obviously fantasy matchups. But in terms of boxing, the weight classes, we have to respect them. And at 147, that is the fight to make.
Sure. I mean, you've gone pretty much under the radar for a guy that's developed, built and learnt his trade, 18-0, 7 KOs, but maybe not hit the limelight like you may start to now with your uncle's backing and your uncle's involvement with you as well. But actually, we were talking about this and being like, boxing purist and, and the sweet science, etc. You have that in abundance. I saw you actually when you stopped Sean Dodd in a couple of rounds. Impressive. You've got a great boxing IQ, and maybe you go, why is this guy not known with the name Eubank? How's he not known the way he should be? Do you feel the time now with your uncle's backing and stuff like that, where you can go, listen, let people see how good I really am, because 18-0 is a great record, but like maybe you should be more known to the wider public.
Too much of a sweetheart.
Listen, I'm not an aggressive man.
But we live in a world, don't we, where you got like YouTubers and whatnot, and your uncle was saying again, it's not about the sweet science now. It's about you get people that make a lot of noise, say certain things, and actually when they come to fight, they can't fight.
Listen, like I said, I'm not an aggressive man. I don't bark. I don't need to bark and shout at people. Maybe this is what gets attention nowadays. But I've, for the last 11 years, committed my life with blood, sweat and tears to learning this sweet craft that we call boxing. And I'm in a position now where I feel like I've learned it. And I'm ready to show the world now.
How important is it, November the 10th, you're returning back to Brighton, a place very, very familiar. How important is that?
Before that,
yeah,
they say there's bad blood between Junior, my son, and Conor. There isn't any bad blood. I mean, this is the dad that's put that onto that young man, as far as I'm concerned. There's no reason for it, and Junior isn't interested in anything that doesn't make money. So there's no bad blood. So what he looked at is the fact that they tried to boil down his cousin to 157. Okay, so now there's beef. And that beef is, you try to boil my cousin down to that weight, whatever promoter did that. Okay, so now there is beef. He doesn't bark, and he's not aggressive, but he's sweet. Okay, and let me tell you, yeah, if I can do what I did to his dad, being as sweet as I've always been, because I've never barked either, he's not a barker, then, the sweetness here can do the same to the dad, can do the same to the son that I did to the dad.
Right.
Let me say that again.
You put that very, very well, and that's.
But do you see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I totally understand where you're coming from. The weight that Chris Eubank Jr. was being asked to boil down to at 157 was an unrealistic weight, an unhealthy weight, and put him in danger in many, many ways. And we all know that. We all knew what it was.
But it seems as though it was this far away. So it's not like it was like, it was never going to happen. It nearly happened. Okay, so the people who engineered that, those promoters who engineered that, are, they have their reward. Okay, and the reward, in actual fact, goes to Harlem, because Harlem will fight him. if he'll have it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like like my uncle said, I'm sweet. I'm the one that's been learning the craft for what it is, putting on the performances in the ring, and learning my craft the old school way. 18 fights, like you say, I've gone under the radar, but I've been putting in the work. This is how I've seen it done, and I'm here now. I'm ready, and I don't think that this game's about shouting and barking. This is about what can you do, when that bell goes.
I mean, Chris,
let's have it right.
what do you think of the boxers of today? And the way that the sport is run today, as opposed to when you were fighting, because things have changed.
Rather than talk about that, because that only can bring me into criticism, which is not what I'm here for.
Sure.
I'm here to show how it should be done. Okay, so, and Conor's learnt properly. He seems to have that old school ideology of boxing, the art. He's his dad with the skill sets, only fighting at the wrong weight. He's been tricked out of actually following his own path. For what? For money. And what? Ego. No.
And you're right in what you say. We've seen Conor develop over the years, and he's improved massively, and he's put himself in the position now where he's become a contender. Can this young man here to your right, can he put himself in that position, or do you think he's already there but just needs the exposure?
He's already there, and now he has the exposure. What is exposure? Exposure is you. So if you interview him every week or every 2 weeks, he'll have the exposure.
Sure.
I'm going to be with him. I mean, what happened? They said, we're going to do a few interviews, and they pulled him away to go out. I said, no, we do the interviews together. That way it gets the traction, because I have a great deal to say. And, at 147 pounds, whoever the British champion is, you'll be hearing us call him out in the not too distant future, after this next fight. Okay? Conor Benn, if that fight is that, let's have it right. As Conor always says, let's have it correct. Okay? Let's have it right. Okay? This is the fighter for him. It isn't my son. He's 2 weights heavier. 2. Okay? The rules are in place to protect the lives of us. Michael Watson wasn't, it wasn't a joke. It's something to be noticed. Take notice of it. Okay? 8 pounds is a lot of weight. 16 pounds is ridiculous. 19 pounds is attempted murder.
Sure.
Yeah.